Lewis Hamilton is currently experiencing one of the most challenging phases of his career. After 9 races with Ferrari, the 7-time world champion has not made it onto the podium once. Now, former Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz has revealed facts that could explain Hamilton's poor performance at Maranello. What are these facts? Let's discuss them, and don't forget to press the subscribe button. This season was supposed to be a new and brilliant chapter in Lewis Hamilton's career. After spending more than a decade with Mercedes, the team that shaped him into a Formula One icon and living legend, Hamilton took a big, risky step. He chose to leave his comfort zone and join Ferrari, the most legendary and historic team in land jet racing. Expectations were high, both from Hamilton himself and the Tifosi, who had long yearned for the revival of the Prancing Horse. However, reality on the track turned out to be less beautiful than imagined. By the time of the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix, Hamilton had not even managed to reach the podium once. This is certainly a disappointing result, given his status and experience. He is now 23 points behind his teammate Charles Leclerc, who has performed consistently and convincingly in recent races. Leclerc has recorded 3 podium finishes, including 3rd place at the Spanish Grand Prix, while Hamilton had to settle for 6th. This was clearly a disappointing result, especially for a driver of his caliber who joined Ferrari with the ambition of making new history. The pressure on Lewis Hamilton continues to mount as he has struggled to demonstrate consistent performance throughout this season. Sky Sports F1 expert Karun Chandok called the Canadian Grand Prix a crucial moment in the 7-time world champion season. "We're already in the second third of the season and he still hasn't found his rhythm," Chandok said firmly. In Imola, he struggled in qualifying, even though his car performed better during the race. In Monaco, he was quite a distance behind Charles Leclerc. This is not the performance we expect from Lewis Hamilton. His consistency is still very doubtful. Furthermore, Chandok said that Hamilton's engineering team at Ferrari needs to conduct a thorough evaluation of the development direction of the SF25 car. He described the car as temperamental, an indication that its characteristics are unpredictable and not always suited to Hamilton's driving style. Chandok's comments take on even greater relevance when you consider Hamilton's own demeanor after the Spanish Grand Prix. When interviewed by Sky Sports, he looked tired and frustrated. He simply replied, "I had a really bad day and there's nothing I can say." However, when asked whether Ferrari could improve the situation going forward, his response carried a deeper emotional nuance. "I'm sure they won't," he said quietly. "The answer is probably only me." During the Spanish Grand Prix, an extraordinary moment once again brought Ferrari's internal dynamics into sharp focus. Struggling to maintain his position, Lewis Hamilton was given a surprising instruction from the pit wall: let his teammate, Charles Leclerc, pass. Not only was the instruction mentally draining, it also felt like a blow to Hamilton, especially since Leclerc didn't just pass him. He sped away with little resistance. This was another chapter in the ongoing tension between Hamilton and his new team. These emotional wounds were not the first of their kind this season. In Miami, Hamilton also appeared frustrated when Ferrari took too long to make a strategic decision. At that time, the debate centered on whether he should swap positions with Leclerc, a decision that ultimately came too late. Hamilton could not hide his annoyance, quipping over the team radio, "Have a cup of tea while you do it." This sarcastic remark immediately became the subject of discussion in the paddock and the media. However, the internal tensions appeared to persist. In Monaco, the tension was palpable when Hamilton was clearly heard over the team radio asking his race engineer, Riccardo Adami, a sharp question: "Are you mad at me or what?" The engineer did not answer, fueling widespread speculation that the relationship between the two was beginning to break down. However, in a post-race interview, Hamilton attempted to dispel all rumors. He emphasized that there were no personal issues within the team. "Our relationship is fine," he said calmly. "We continue to learn from each other every week. We have no problems. All the speculation is nonsense." This seemed to put an end to the conflict, although many believe that the small fire in the Ferrari garage has not yet been fully extinguished. Amid the torrent of speculation and public pressure surrounding Lewis Hamilton's performance with Ferrari, a voice emerged from outside the Prancing Horse team that carried significant weight. Carlos Sainz, a former Ferrari driver now playing for the Williams team, gave his sharp yet empathetic view of Hamilton's situation. "I understand them because I know how complicated it is," said Sainz in a recent interview. "It's not just about pride or status. I know very well how difficult the adaptation process is when someone moves teams, especially to an environment full of expectations. Sainz did not speak carelessly. He based his comments on personal experience that has shaped him throughout his career. Since his debut in Formula One, Sainz has experienced the challenges of transitioning between 5 different teams: Toro Rosso, Renault, McLaren, Ferrari, and now Williams. He said that each move was not only about adapting to a racing style, but also about understanding the team's philosophy, building technical trust, and becoming one with the engineers psychologically. People often expect instant results. I remember when Ricciardo moved to Renault and then to McLaren, expectations were immediately high. But the reality is that adaptation cannot be forced. It's a long process that can be very tiring. Strangely, not many people talk about it, even though it is crucial, Sainz continued. This statement provides important context. Hamilton's biggest obstacle right now may not be his speed or talent, but rather the need for time. Time to understand the characteristics of the Ferrari car, time to adapt to the team's working rhythm, and time to establish a solid technical relationship with the entire technical and operational team in Maranello. The fact that the 7-time world champion will turn 40 during his first full season with Ferrari is unavoidable. However, only one person has really highlighted Hamilton's age as a burden: his former teammate and longtime rival, Nico Rosberg. But Hamilton is calm. He refuses to be defined by numbers and, with the confidence of a legend, asks fans and pundits to withhold their judgment. He believes that conclusions should only be drawn after he has spent a few years with Ferrari. Not now. Not when the adaptation process has only just begun. Amid the constant scrutiny, Hamilton remains steadfast. He knows that the SF25 is not a car that can be tamed instantly. Changes to the team, its culture, and its technical philosophy require complex adjustments. Perhaps, as with all great racing art, miracles come to those who are patient. As Formula One heads to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve this weekend, Lewis Hamilton will bring with him his greatest asset: experience. He is not a rookie proving his worth. He is Lewis Hamilton. He is a man who has weathered storms, won wars, and made history. Perhaps the rest of this season will be a laboratory for Hamilton. It will be a time to break old habits that do not align with the characteristics of the SF25 and establish a new relationship with the Maranello team. However, when the time comes, perhaps in the 2026 season, we could witness a remarkable comeback. The 2025 Canadian Grand Prix could be a turning point for Lewis Hamilton in his time with Ferrari. With the weight of media scrutiny, inconsistent performance, and the looming shadow of Leclerc, Hamilton must reinvent himself, and quickly. However, as Carlos Sainz said, perhaps the world of F1 needs to be a little patient. Because, even though Hamilton is a legend, he is still human. In a world as fast-paced as Formula One, adaptation requires more than just talent. It requires time, understanding, and extraordinary mental toughness. Can Lewis Hamilton turn things around? Or will his time at Ferrari be an unexpected chapter in his career? Let us know what you think in the comments below.